Okay, I'm going to be installing the Baron H bar. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the headlight. So there's two bolts like this that are holding the headlights, one on right and left hand side. So just go ahead and remove those. Next I'm going to undo all the cable ties on the handlebar. Next I'm going to remove the controls. So all you do is just unscrew these Phillips heads and it should come right out. Next you want to go ahead and remove your grips. If you're not going to reuse them, just cut them up with the blade, but for those who want to reuse them, I stick a screwdriver through as far as I can and I stick spray Windex down there. Get as much of it down there as I can, and then I just kind of work the grips off like so. There you go. There you go. Okay, this is the brake side. I'm going to go ahead and start removing the controls here. So there's a Phillips head on top and bottom, so just go ahead and start removing those. Okay, since I'm going to be using new grips, I need to remove these cables. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and loosen the tension on the your throttle body cable. So I just screwed that in. Also there's a retaining bolt here for this piece. Just go ahead and remove it. Okay, there's a little security torque screw in there, and it's a TS10. You're gonna need to remove that. And it's hard to show it on here, but there's a cable with a end to it, and then there's this cam that's in, so you got to work that out. Just kind of finesse it out of there and just remove it. And there's one on the top and there's one on the bottom. You got to do the same thing. Just kind of work it out. There you go, and that should come right out. Okay, next I'm going to just loosen up the front brake perch, and then go ahead and just remove the bolts here for these standoffs. Okay, with these removed, now I can just slide my purchase off. So these just slide right off. Like so. Just kind of carefully lay them off. Same thing on the other side. Okay, now we need to go ahead and remove the mounts for the handlebar. So there's two of these bolts, one on each side. The other side's kind of a pain because there's cables all over it, but if you take your time, you can get a closed wrench in there. So I've already loosened these up. So just go ahead and remove them. And also it's a mount for these little cable holders, so you can reuse them. Okay, so I got the bolts off. So you should just be able to slide those off. And you'll see there's a little, like a dampener ring in there. Just go ahead and leave that there. You got it off, and just do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I got these Baron H bars from SS Custom Cycles. Ordered from them, picked them up today. Also make sure you, when you order them, that you make sure you get the hardware for installation. On my order I made sure I typed that in, and the guys at SNS Custom did an awesome job, made sure it was available. So I'm getting ready to stick these in. Okay, so before we start mounting these on, this is a perfect time to just kind of, all those things I had undone, just kind of slide them on now. Oh yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So grab both of your perches and just slide them on. And just be mindful of your cables. There we go. looks like I'm gonna need to do some loosening here to get these even up. Okay, it looks like I can't reuse this this bracket. It was just putting a little more tension I'm comfortable with for the clutch cable. So this is where it would have been nice having an extra pair of hands to hold it for you. So I think I got it arranged now so that it goes with very little tension. So get the bar up, and then I put a little Loctite and just squeeze that on there. Just get by hand for now, and then go ahead, thread in the other bolt using a little bit of Loctite. Alright, that's what it should look like. Okay, and go ahead, thread in the other bolt. It's actually much easier without having that guide in the way. So I'm just tightening down on the. I'm going to go ahead and put the headlight back on so I don't forget to do that. And when I start putting the cable, okay, I picked up some Avon grips. These are their little air grips. They're pretty big compared to the stock ones. So all they say is you just kind of put them on, and it's a wedge thing that kind of gets up there, so just kind of make sure you put it where you want it. Okay, so you want to, before you put these completely the grips back on, I kind of made a mistake, so you want to make sure that you put your switches on first, and you'll see there's a little hole there that mates up with this thing, so with the switch here, so it doesn't rotate on you. So just make sure you put that on first. So that was mistake number one. Just put that on first. And it looks like I won't be able to use my hand warmers. So with this grip set. Okay, now I got that back on. Go ahead and push that all the way up against it. And then tighten up the 3 set screws. Okay, the Avon air grips, just make sure you test fit. You know, like the instruction says, test fit, make sure the housing fits over it. Also, make sure you get the correct cam to fit on there, and you'll see on here there's a letter B, and so that kind of goes straight on this way, and you'll see there's a section that's empty, and it just kind of goes right on there like that. And then on the instructions they'll tell you to put glue, just follow the instruction in those spots, and then the spots without the teeth, you put glue there, three sets of glue. Okay, so at 3, and then just making sure that the B goes on like so. That's it. And just kind of press on it for a few minutes. And okay, this tricky part now. I know this cable here is the one that opens up the throttle body. So if I pull on it, I can see the throttle body. And the reason I can tell is it also has a cable adjuster on the top. So what you want to do is take your housing and make sure you have it oriented correctly. And so I know that these are supposed to be on the outside. Feed it through. So yeah, that way. And then you take your glued up throttle handle, and you know it's going to sit, this cam is going to sit towards the rider, so you want to, you know, this is the top one, so you want to go ahead and you'll see it. I don't think you'll see in the video very well, there's this little slot that fits right in. Push it in all the way, and then there's a slot for the cable to just kind of ride in, just like that. And then you want to do the same thing for the bottom. For the bottom one here, you just kind of feed it through the bottom of the housing here, like so. So it sticks out the bottom. You just kind of get that away. And again, same thing. Kind of get this cable and feed it through this cam, and so you just have to kind of, okay, I finally got it on. It took a little finagling, but that's how it's supposed to go on. If someone else has an easier way, but I just kind of I ended up doing the bottom one first and then moving to the top, and that was the only way I can get it in. And then just kind of make sure you put this whole little holder in place so it doesn't come out on you after you did all that work, and then put the screw back in. Okay, now we got that's secure, the cable's secured. I want to make sure we put this little guide in, so just again fits right in just like that. And then you take your, I believe it's a T10 security bolt, and just screw it back in there. Okay, so we're gonna go put these back on. Remember, there's a little, like a little nipple for anti-rotation, and there's a little hole in the bar right here that this fits on. So just go ahead and, okay, so I finally got in the little hole, and then yeah, I'm just gonna put on the Phillips head screws. Okay, I got it all buttoned up, and you can see my throttle is working properly. I don't know if you can see it there. Go ahead and adjust your cable tension to whatever, to spec. I tend to want just a little bit of play, not a whole lot. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Now we're gonna adjust. I'll put the bike down, sit on it to adjust where I want the mirror and the brake levers. Alright, once you also get everything all buttoned up, everything's all installed, just turn your handlebars left and right completely. Just make sure none of your cables are pinching, that when it's turned full left, full right, that it's not pulling on anything. Unfortunately, I didn't reuse that brace, just I'm one of the unlucky ones where the cable was just long enough where I'm pretty comfortable with the way it is in terms of how tight my cables are. Probably another inch or two for the brake line would have been nice. I could probably get it by just undoing this cable guide here and running it lower, which I'll probably end up doing just to get some of that tension off the brake line. Okay, the bars are installed now, and just make sure double check all your work, make sure it's tight. Last thing you want to do is have your handlebars flying off while you're riding. Also adjust your cable tension to spec or the way you like it. I tend to like mine to be basically a 1-to-1 with very little slack. With my clutch, same thing, kind of like my dirt bikes. I just kind of have very little play before I start feeling tension. So just make sure you tighten that up and adjust the way you want. And again, you'll need to readjust your mirrors with a different bar angle. And just as a reference, I'm 5'8", and these bars actually reach further back, and they're actually comfortable compared to the stock handlebar. So this is what it looks like from the driver's side, and here's from a side view. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. All right.